We're pleased to be joined by Nancy Cantor, who is the Chancellor of Rutgers University, Newark, and one of the two editors of Our Compelling Interest, The Value of Diversity for Democracy and a Prosperous Society. Good to see you, Nancy.
Great to see you.
It's a great city we are in. We're here at NJPAC, right?
It's a wonderful city we're in. I mean, Newark, New Jersey is just such a representation of all the opportunity and the challenges that this country faces.
Sorry for interrupting. Let's talk about Rutgers-Newark as someone who knows it well, who's taught there in the past, understands the culture. But for those who may not understand, U.S. News and World Report says it's one of the most diverse campuses in the nation. It's more than that, but what does that mean?
So the diversity of Rutgers-Newark is phenomenal because it represents a microcosm of the diversity of this country. And in fact, what we all need to be paying attention to and appreciating in a positive way is the opportunity that that diversity of the next generation really means. We have for example, in our institution of 12,000 students, we have no racial or ethnic majority group. We have tons of languages represented, cultural heritages, lots of students from low-income families for whom this is a real opportunity. And Rutgers-Newark has been that way for generations in terms of being a place of opportunity. And, you know, when I think of higher education, I think of it as the royal road to opportunity.
Say that again, the royal road.
The royal road to opportunity. If you think about what has built this country and its prosperity and its social value, what has built it is that each generation has put its mark by striving to prosper, striving to have families prosper. And education's been at the heart of that.
You know, we've had people come on here. We actually had someone who's been a success in social media and marketing who said, you know what, I went to college and it was fine, but I got to tell you something, I think I could have made millions of dollars anyway if I never went to college, and I think it's overrated. And a lot of people waste their money and save a lot of money and have their kids do it. And we went back and forth because you know where I'm coming from on this.
Do.
Go ahead.
No, I couldn't disagree more. I mean, this country's prosperity has been built on educating each generation and providing more opportunity. And in a knowledge economy, it couldn't be more important. You simply can't survive. And most importantly, the country isn't going to survive if we leave so much talent on the sidelines. We are undereducating so many students in our K-12 system, in higher education. We're not looking for patterns of where, for example, first-generation families, where do their students go? They go to community colleges. So at Rutgers-Newark, for example, and many places around the country are doing this, we're really looking for amazing talent in first-generation students in community colleges who then transfer to us and go on in science and technology and engineering and mathematics or in the arts.
And if they had never done that, what would happen?
There's no entry into prosperity in a global knowledge economy without an advanced degree. And we know that higher education is, in fact, more and more a ticket to that. That's why it's so important that we make it available for people.
But you know, Nancy, you talk about the economics of it, which is huge. The opportunities created because one, in fact, goes to a 2 and a 4, ultimately a 4-year higher education experience. But the other part of it that strikes me about Rutgers-Newark, and I remember being on campus a few years back, and I remember teaching a course in the business school and seeing my first class, and I'm thinking, my God, and the diversity was blowing me away. And I thought, these students who are working in group projects, now without going into detail, they're working in group projects, and immediately the thing that struck me is they have to interact with other people who are unlike them. And in and of itself, talk about that skill set.
That is so important. So one of the things that's really important is the notion that this country is in a moment of divisive division.
P.S. We're in the final stretches of a 2006 presidential election. This will be seen afterwards. Go to your point. Timing could not be better.
Timing could not be better. Higher education is one of the few American institutions where we can really learn to cross boundaries of difference, right? We don't naturally do it. We live in highly separated, one might even say often segregated communities.
Balkanized.
Balkanized. We don't vote together. We don't go to faith institutions together. We don't share always the same language. We don't get educated together in K-12. And then somehow we're expected to create one out of many, right? E pluribus unum. That's the American dream. So the American dream is fulfilled by higher education in both its aspects, both the land of opportunity, and we spoke about that earlier.
Economics.
But it's also e pluribus unum. It's how do we come together? And as you well know, 24/7, we're in a barrage of coming apart. We're taken over with the notion that we're not a collective, we're not a people who depend on each other, we're a people who are in a zero-sum mentality.
If you're
with
getting
each
something,
other.
Nancy, that means it's coming away from me, and I got to take it back from you.
When in fact, there's lots of evidence, and higher education is the place to do, one of the places to do this. The military, interestingly, also is a place where you can do this. There's lots of evidence that there is a diversity bonus. Scott Page, a fabulous faculty member at University of Michigan, a good friend of mine, talks about the diversity bonus that comes in group problem solving by having people with different identities, cognitive diversity, come together. Well, that's at its best what higher education does. But the thing I would want to say about that is none of this comes automatically. You don't just put people in a room and they get along, right? You don't just put people in a room and they feed off each other's diverse perspectives.
You have to create an environment.
You have to
facilitate
create an
it,
environment.
promote it, foster it.
Exactly.
By the way, this book, give me a minute on this.
So this is the inaugural volume supported by the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation of what will be a 15-year book series on the compelling interest of diversity. And the notion really is we have a diversity explosion in this country. By mid-century, we will be a majority-minority country.
Non-white.
Right, majority non-white. What are we going to do with that? Are we going to continue to view it as a threat, or are we going to see the opportunity to leverage diversity for prosperity, to leverage diversity for social good, to leverage diversity to come together, to be creative? For example, think about the arts. We are part of the renovation in downtown Newark of the great historic Haynes Building.
That's right.
We're going to have 50,000 square feet in there of university community arts collaboratory, because the arts is really, broadly defined, is really one of the ways that we actually do express who we are and express it to each other.
Nancy Cantor is the Chancellor of Rutgers-Newark, one of the most diverse campuses in the United States of America, doing important work here in the city, across the state and the nation. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Appreciate being partners with you here at NJPAC.
Great to be here.
We're right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Wells Fargo, New Jersey Resources, New Jersey Sharing Network, Adler Aphasia Center, the New Jersey State Nurses Association, and the Institute for Nurses, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, and by Partners for Health Foundation. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.